Hello, you are most welcome. Yeah, it's Henry the computer guy, and in this video we are going to be looking at how we can work with Microsoft PowerPoint. PowerPoint is a presentation software, and this is a type of software that we can use to organize and display information normally in the form of slideshows. So it's not only PowerPoint that we can use to create a presentation. There are also other softwares we can use. For example, we have the K Presenter, we can have the Impress, we can have the Google Slides, we can have the Corel presentation, we can have the Apple Keynote and others. But for our case, we are only going to be basing on PowerPoint. And we are going to be actually designing a simple presentation about the categories of computers. So that is going to be the analog, the digital, and the hybrid. So now let's dive into the real practice and see how we can do this. So first of all, this is our desktop we are going to be using, and we are going to be creating a folder that will hold our file or our presentation. For purposes of organization, let's say we are going to be organized, we shall create a folder onto our desktop. So now we're going to be looking for any free space on the desktop. Then you right click there, and having right clicked there, we're going to be selecting the option that says new, and after we select the option that says folder. So we call it categories of computers. Categories of computers. So that is our folder that is going to keep our presentation. So we can click aside or press enter to accept the item we have done. So now let's come down here and open our presentation. This is PowerPoint. We are going to be specifically using PowerPoint 2010, and we have already opened it. So when you open it just like that, at the top here we have what we call the title bar. Then here we have some tabs, we have some icons. That means that the combination of all these can be referred to as the ribbon. Then here we have the slides we are going to be working upon. Then we can as well talk about the outline that can display only the textual content of our presentation. Here we have the slide and the outline. Then in the middle here we have our working area where we have our slide. Remember, pages in presentation software are called slides, and onto a slide we have some structures we call the placeholders, and a placeholder is specifically that structure on a slide that will hold our content. For example, it will always be telling you click to add title, click to add subtitle, and others. So it will be able to hold our content. Then down here we have what we call the notes area. That means that we can always write some notes about something we have put here. For example, you have a definition, then you can always be able to put it under the notes area, such that you can use it for personal references. Then that means that if at all in the beginning we didn't have any of the pages here, we can, let's say, remove this, or we can as well bring it back, for example, from the view, and we come back to what we call the normal. We can always be able to bring that here. So we can delete this slide and remain with nothing. So I can delete this by right clicking onto it and say delete slide. So we have nothing in the beginning. Assuming that you found your computer having nothing just like this, so we can come back to our home. So the first thing we are going to be looking at is saving our presentation. We want to save our presentation in our folder. So what you're going to do is to come to the option that says file, and having clicked on it, you'll come and look for the option that says save. So we are going to be saving this presentation into the folder we created onto our desktop. So you're going to come and look for your location you want to save the presentation in. That was the desktop, and remember we created our folder which was saying it was categories of computers. So we select that folder, then we give it a name. For example, I can call it categories also, categories, just like that. Then we say we want to save our presentation. So that is it. So now our presentation is saved and we are ready to go. So the name is up here, that's why we called it the title bar. And on the left here, we have what we call the quick access toolbar. We can always pin items there. We always want to access with ease. For example, if I wanted to add, let's say something, let's say with something, we are going to see how we can add them. And on the right here, we have the minimize button, the maximize and restore, then the close button. So we can now begin. So of course, we don't have any page at the moment. That means that we have to first of all put our page or our slide. And whenever you want to put any page into your presentation, you'll have to come to the home tab, then come to the option that says new slide. And when you click on it, they will be able to give you a variety of the slides you can select from. If you want to use a title, you can come to the title. If you want to use the title content, if you want to use the section header, if you want to use this to content, comparison, title only, and others. So you will have to pick a slide that specifically suits your criteria or what you need to create. And for my case, I'm going to be starting with what we call a title slide. So I'll click onto a title slide, just like that. And having clicked on it, they will give me the press holder here. They will tell me type something. Of course, what am I going to type? Of course, they are specifically the categories of computers. And having finished that, I can come and say, let's say presented by, let's say Henry the computer guy. So this is my slide one. I can make some changes here. For example, this is not all that visible. I can make it visible, for example, by making it bold. I can even put it in a different color, just like that. So this is my first slide. Then when I come to slide 2, I can put the introduction slide. That means that I will come back to home tab. I will come back and say I'm going to be selecting the title and content. And under that title and content, I'm going to be putting, let's say, introduction. So I need to get in the introduction about, let's say, the categories of computers. I can write and say that computers can be categorized. Computers can be categorized according to how they process and represent their data, just like that. So we have some mistakes here, so we can always go back, right click, then we use right spelling. They say we made a mistake here. We can say according, we remove this A, just like that. Then we come and also change this to represent. So that is my introduction. That is it. For example, I can say in this we are going to talk about 3 of them. So we will leave some space here also to talk about them. We're going to be talking about 3 of them, namely we have the analog, we have the digital, and the hybrid. So that is the introduction that we have. That means that we are going to be looking at this. So now we can be in need of putting an image here. That means that we can come to insert. If we don't have some images about the topic we are writing, we can as well come to the clip arts. So we have some images. First of all, let me see, we come to our desktop. Then we come to categories. I have some images there. We can come and get the categories, the ones we are going to be looking at. So this is an image of what we are going to be talking about. So that is slide 2 also done. So we come and talk about slide 3, which is going to be analog computers. You come to new, then you come and select the option that says that, and come and say we are going to be looking at analog computers. Then down here we can talk about a little about analog. For example, we can see that these are computers that perform, let's say these are computers that perform, let's say tasks using continuous data. Just like that. We have some mistake here. We can right click and get this right spelling for continuous. Then we put a full stop and say that these devices are used to measure, let's say voltage, comma, we can have pressure, comma, we can have electric current, we can have temperature, etc. So we can come down here and also talk about examples of analog devices or computers. Then we can come down and put the answers. For example, we can have a planimeter, by the way, we can remove this as we put it in the center. Come and align it to the center. We can make it bold, give it some color. We give this one some color and making it bold to make our work look nice. Then we can have another answer there. So we can ignore this, enter. We can have a nanogram. We can have operational amplifiers. We can have a voltimeter, comma, we can have a ammeter, we can have a thermometer. Let's remove this voltimeter, then etc. So that this is now all about analog. Then we can have another slide about digital computers. Can come and say these are computers. Let's say digital computers. We can make them a little bit bold. We can put it in color. So we can come and say these are computers that process, we leave some space here. These are computers that process their data in binary code or discrete values, full stop. So we can also have some examples here, examples of digital computers. We can have them as we can have a laptop, we can have PDA is portable or personal digital assistants, we can have digital watches, we can have let's say calculators, etc. Those are enough. We can come and make some modification here. We put it in the center, we make it bold, yeah, just like that. Then we come and lastly talk about the last slide, that is going to be the hybrid computers. And we can make some modifications here, making it bold and giving it this. Then we can say that these are computers, these computers that combine, these are computers that combine the desirable features of both analog and digital. So we can have the examples here, examples of hybrid computers or devices. Can come down here, we can have, for example, the digital petrol pumps, digital petrol pumps. Can come back here and make some modification, put this one in the center, we highlight it and make it bold, then afterwards we give it some color. Then we come down here, we can put ultrasound machines, we can put electrocardiogram, we can put monitoring machines, we can have the hybrid watches, etc. So that is what we have. So now if at all you wanted to insert another slide, for example, if you talk about the blank slide, you will get it just like this, but you cannot write on a blank slide not until you put what we call a text box. So we'll come to the insert option and look for the text box, then you can be able to write on that slide. So that was just a by the way, so we can remove this and continue with what we had. So let's put some images onto our slides. For example, we come to analog, so I'll come and insert some images there. Then come to your desktop. Of course, we have the categories of computers, so we can come and look at the folder for analog. We get some images from there, so I can click on them. Let's say I put both of them, I'll select just like that. So this is very big, so we come and say, or we can minimize this. After minimizing it, we can be able to choose from our categories, then we pick the right image we want. So you're going to come to analog, then after you can hold this and put it into your presentation. So you can as well make it very small if you feel you want, by dragging it to any size of your choice. This is what we have. So assuming that this is the image we have, I can as well make this as a modification such that I can fit my image where I want it to be. So this is the image I want us to use. We can even crop it by double clicking on it and coming to the option that says crop. And when you click on it, you can as well be able to remove some parts of that image. Let's crop it such that we remain with the space we wanted to use. You can crop it a little, just like that. So this is what we have for the analog. Then we come to the digital. We can as well do the same. Come to insert, come to pictures, then you can look for the digital. We get some, we hold it and put it into our work, or you can click on it and say insert. It will become big. Then you can minimize the size that it's having. Then you can put it into your work. Those are some of the images we can have. Then we come to hybrid. Again, the same procedure. We come to insert and look for the hybrid images. So we can have this and insert it into our work. So we can resize it a little, just like that. We put it here. These are some of the images we can use. And having put all the images, we can now look at the design. And remember, I told you that when you want to insert images and you don't have them, you can as well be able to insert the clip arts by clicking on clip art, coming to the option. For example, I want to computers. I'll come and type computers, then I'll say go. They'll be able to give me some clip arts. Then I can be able to drag them and drop them to my slide. Let's say I wanted to use that. I can double click on it. It comes into my work, just like that. I need only one, so you can put it here. This is a clip art. You can come back to any other slide you feel you want. You can use this on all the slides. For example, I can put it there to make my work look nice. Then I can double click on it. It comes here, just like that. So we have the introduction. We didn't change this one. We can put it to bold, and again with that. So we can close the clip art section. Let's come to the design. We want to give our presentation a good look, because you're saying that our pages are just white. So we can look for a good look for our presentation. You go on looking for the good look for your presentation. Let's say you have this, we have this, we have this. You can choose always a design that suits you. For example, I can use this, I can use this, I can use any of the designs I feel I have. There are many designs here you can select from. For example, you can go on looking for the right design for your presentation. And assuming this is going to be my design, I can as well adjust the information. And whenever you're making a presentation, you have to make sure that the words are visible. So we can increase the size of those words by coming to this. So whenever you choose a design, it can as well change the way your text is going to look. So this is what we have for the introduction. We have this one as the first slide. We have this one. So whenever you select a theme will change the look of your presentation. And if you wanted to change the colors, you can as well come and change the colors depending on exactly what you feel you want. You see, it goes on changing depending on the theme that I've selected. And if at all you wanted to change all the fonts, you can as well be able to do that on that section. And you can also have some effects you can use for that presentation. And having changed that, we can also talk about the background. For example, I can choose different backgrounds. For example, I need this, so it will make your presentation look nice with the way you insert that. So I can as well decide to put any that I feel I want. I can go on changing the size of the words for them to be visible to the audience I'm going to be presenting to. So just like that. Come to this one also, we make it a little bit bigger. It will depend on what you exactly need. Then you can always drag these placeholders to any area. They're always free. Then you can come to this, you can make them also bigger depending on exactly the need. Remember, I told you that the theme can change the look of your presentation, so you can go on making modifications to your presentation. We can come and scroll to the last one. We also modify it a little by increasing the font, just like that. And that is what we have for now. So having put the design, we can now go and ahead and choose the transitions for our presentation. Let's go back to the first slide. So this is our first slide. We can as well increase the size for these ones depending on exactly what we need. So we come and look at the transitions. First of all, what is the meaning of a transition? A transition is specifically that effect that will occur as one slide changes to another. So now we need a transition. Let's say we have the fade. You see how it does it? You see how it does it? So we can as well click on a slide and give it a transition that you feel you want. Let's say we have this, it will do like that. When I come to this, I can come and say I need it to uncover. It will just like do like that. I'll come to this, I'll click and say I'll expect it to do this. Then I'll come to this one, number 4, then I'll say it will have to do it like that. Then lastly, I can choose number 5 and say it will, let's say, push just like that. So all the slides can be given, and if you wanted to use one transition, you can select it, then you say apply to all, and you can as well be able to put the sound to them whenever you change. So they can also be given a duration of how long they can last in your presentation. You can even say apply to all. They will take that for all the slides. Then after putting the transitions, we can come to the animation, and animation is specifically the life you give to an object. It can be a word, it can be a text, it can be an image. So that life you give it is what we call the animation. So let's try it and see. From slide 1, we can have our information here. We come and pick the animation and say, let's say fly in. It will just do like that. We come to this, let's say it will be the fly in again. Then we come to slide 2, we pick, let's say, our heading, and we can say it will do like that. Then let's say this one will just do like this. Then our picture is also here. It can as well come in random bars. We come to slide 3, we do the same. Select what you feel you want to apply to, then you come and move the row. We have those ones for the entrance, we have the emphasis, we have the exit, we also have the motion. For example, I want it to spin. Of course, the spinning will do like that. So I'll come to this, I'll also select another one. For example, I want to wipe. It will be just like that. Then I'll come and apply to my image as well, which will, let's say, be motion. You can as well say I'm going to be using motion. It will be doing that. Then you come to our slide 4. We select the word we want to give the animation, then come to animations. Then you can always change it accordingly. You come and select, then come and look for, let's say, our spin. Then we have the image here. We can as well decide to look for any. And remember, don't put many text animation because they will be confusing the audience. You want to attract their attention, you always have to put minimal of the animations to attract their attention. Then let's come to slide 5 and lastly give it also. We have this. You come and select, then give it. You come and select, then you give this. Just like that, depending on exactly what you feel you wanted. And you can as well be able to select the start time, the duration, and the delay for all those animations you're putting into your presentation. And now we can as well be able to talk about the footer, the header, any other. So let's talk about the footer. If you wanted to insert a footer into your presentation, you'll come to insert, then click on that section that says footer or header. So we have, first of all, this slide. We can choose the date and time which will appear, either which is going to be automatically or that one which is fixed. It depends on exactly what you feel you want. So you can put the slide numbers, then you can as well put the footer. Let's say Henry. Let's say Henry the computer guy. Henry the computer guy. Just like that. Then you can say apply to all or apply to only that slide you own. So I can say apply to all, or I can even say excluding the first what, the first slide. So this is it, and we have the date here, we have the Henry the computer guy, and the slide number onto our presentation. Then we can also come to the slideshow. And having done everything that you wanted onto your presentation, you want to present this information to the audience. That means that you'll come to the slideshow, then start playing your presentation. Let's say from the beginning. So you can as well be able to give it some time. Let's say after this, I'll do this. After this, I'll do this. Then you can play the presentation. For example, you'll come and say, from the beginning, it will have to cover the entire screen for the audience to see. Then you start making the presentations depending on what you're giving to your audience. You see the effects are coming the way we put them in the beginning. You see the effects are coming, the animations are there, and these transitions are also there. So you go on clicking, you go on clicking, you go on clicking till when you're done. But at times you might be in need of let's say leaving this presentation, let's say on automatic. That means that you have to include in the timing. For example, you give it the timing. And we come to the transitions here. We also have, for example, advanced slide. For example, you can use the on mouse click, or we can always play it after some time. That means that it's going to be playing automatically after some time you include here. For example, I can say it will be this, and let's say I'm going to increase it to, not that one, I'm going to increase it to some 2 seconds. I can come here and type 02. That means that it will be taking 2 seconds as you're running it automatically. Then you come to the slide. For example, the first one, let me see which one is the first one. You give it the timing after, for example, let's say 2 seconds. It will be the same. So let me wrap this. I put 2 seconds. I come to slide 2. I give it after, then I give it 2 also. So it will only delay for 2 seconds. Then I'll come after 2, just like this. I'll come to 4 after, then I'll give it this after 2. Then I'll come to the last slide and give it timing also. This is slide 5. I've already given that one. I think it's the one I first gave in the beginning. So that means that when you play this from the beginning, slideshow, then come to the beginning, it will have to do everything automatically basing on the timing that you gave it. You see, I'm not touching it, but it is really changing the items depending on the timings that we had given to it. And whenever you want to go back to where you're working from, you can always press the escape button to stop the presentation. But at times, also a question will tell you to, let's say, loop your presentation until the user presses the escape button. It finishes, it goes back to the first one. It finishes, it goes back to the first one. So that is what we call the looping. So you just press escape, then you go back to your work and come and set that option. So when I come to the slideshow, I'll come to setup slideshow. And when I come to setup slideshow, they'll give me an option here, show options, whereby I can say loop continuously until escape. That means that the presentation is going to be playing until the user decides to stop it. It goes from the first slide to the last slide, then starts again without or doing it automatically. So if you want to always do that, you can always be able to check this option and say okay. So it will go from the first one to the last one without stopping until the user presses the escape button for that one. And lastly, we are going to be talking about some views here. For example, we have the normal view. This is the one that we are having right now. We have the slide sorter view, which can display all your slides in thumbnail versions, whereby you can make different arrangements. You can even be able to add slides from that view. We have the notes page. That means that if you had some notes into our presentation, they can be displayed here. It shows the picture of your slide and the notes. Let's add some notes here. When we come back to normal, assuming that we are on this slide, let's say hybrid, I say down here, let's say given by Henry. Let's say given by Henry the computer guy. So when I come and put that and come back to what we call the notes page, you'll come and see down here that we have some notes. So specifically, that is it. And you have the reading mode. Let's say it only gives you option for the reading. Then we have the slide master. Let's take a moment and look at what we call the slide master. The slide master will help us to put items onto all our slides at once. You can preset the colors, you can preset everything that you feel you want, or using the slide master. You come and click on it, it takes you to that section, and you'll come to the first slide and make the changes. For example, if you wanted your font to be let's say, you come and make some changes here. Let's say you wanted to make it bold, you wanted to, let's say, make it as Times New Roman or Algerian, you wanted to give it a color red, it will go and change everything into your presentation when you have done it into the slide master. So you can come back to the slide master and close. You can even give it the size. It will be able to help you do everything at once. So it's that. Then we come back to normal. It has to make some changes there. Then okay, when we come back to the normal, of course this is what I've changed. When we come back here, it has changed it. You see the heading, it is having that, and I think all of them are having that. So the slide master will let you to preset layouts, fonts, colors into your presentation, or as at once. And now when we come back to this, we can now play our presentation and see. Those are some of the major views we can have. And lastly, we play our presentation and see what we have. So we can come and say from the beginning. Remember, we gave it some timing. It does everything automatically. So if you wanted to give it some bigger or much time, you put the time there. It will do everything automatically without you touching it. And when it finishes, remember we used the roping option. It will have to go back to the first one until the user presses the escape button. If you also put the sound, then you would also be able to hear the sound as the presentation is moving on. So that is it that we are having. You see the items changing, then it has gone back because it is using the other option that we said, loop continuously until the user presses that escape button. So let me press the escape button and we go back to the edit mode. So that is it that I actually had for you for the presentation software, and we can now click on our save. So that is it. So everything has been saved into our presentation. So it's been Henry the Computer Guy, and if you're new to my channel, please click the subscribe button and share the link to all your friends that might need it. I remain Henry the Computer Guy. Bye bye. I sign out. See you in the next video.